Welcome to the podcast series, Small Business Survival Conversations. Through our weekly conversations, we hope to provide you with strategies and insights, knowledge and expertise to enlighten you as you work to build and grow your business.
Good morning, business warriors. It's Monday, which means it's time to sharpen your mindset, strengthen your strategy, and kick off the week with clarity and power. Today, we're pulling another lesson from the Grimm Brothers fairy tales. And trust me, this one has a message you don't want to miss. Because sometimes the greatest obstacle standing between you and success isn't the competition or the economy or the market. It's the voice in your head that says you're not ready. Let me ask you something. Have you ever felt underestimated? Maybe a customer who was questioning your expertise, or maybe a competitor who dismissed your presence in the market, or maybe a vendor who didn't take you seriously, or, and let's be really honest here, maybe you've underestimated yourself. You know what I'm talking about? The moment when you thought, who am I to charge premium prices? I'm too new to pitch that big client. I don't have enough experience to compete with them. Well, today's story is a reminder that brilliance, resilience, creativity, and capability are not determined by age, experience, degrees, or titles. They're determined by what you do when you're lost in the woods with nothing but your wits. So today we'll be talking about Hansel and Gretel. Once upon a time, and every entrepreneur knows this feeling, resources were scarce. Pressure was mounting, and the people in charge were making decisions out of fear instead of wisdom. Hansel and Gretel were just kids. But they had a problem. Their father and stepmother, overwhelmed by poverty and panic, decided to abandon them in the forest. The parents assumed the children were helpless, too young, too inexperienced. They'd never survived on their own. They underestimated them. But Hansel, who was paying attention, he thought strategically. He gathered white pebbles and left a trail to guide them back home. And it worked. But the second time, he didn't have pebbles. So he used breadcrumbs, the only resource available to him. Smart, right? Except hungry birds ate the trail, because even the best strategy can get thrown off by forces beyond your control. We business owners know that feeling. So now they're lost, deep in the forest, no GPS, no backup plan, no safety net. And that's when they stumble upon the gingerbread house. It looked like salvation, sweet, inviting, exactly what they need. But it was a trap. The witch who owns it sees two hungry, desperate children and makes the same mistake their parents did. She assumed they're helpless, weak, easy targets. She locks Hansel in a cage to fatten him up. She forces Gretel to work as her servant. She thinks she's in complete control. But here's what she didn't see coming. Hansel and Gretel, with no money, no tools, no roadmap, no mentor, used the only one resource they did have: the intelligence, the instincts, their courage, the ability to problem solve under pressure. When the witch ordered Gretel to check if the oven was hot enough, Gretel played dumb and she said, "I don't know how. Can you show me?" The witch, irritated and overconfident, climbed into the oven herself. and Gretel slammed the door shut. They didn't wait to be rescued. They didn't collapse under fear. They didn't say, "We're just kids. What can we do?" They said, "What can we do?" And then they did it. They freed themselves, found treasure in the witch's house, and made it a home. If the witch hadn't underestimated them, her dark business model might have continued. But she did, and it cost her everything. So, what does this mean for you as a small business owner? Here's the truth that hit me when I revisited the story. Someone else's perception of you does not define your capability. Your age, background, or experience level does not limit your potential. Your power comes from your creativity, resourcefulness, and willingness to act, especially when the stakes are high. People will underestimate you. That's just the reality. Clients will assume you can't handle their size. Competitors will dismiss you as too small to matter. Industry veterans will look at you like you don't belong. But here's the real danger: when you start believing them, when you internalize the doubt, when you hold back because you think you're not ready yet, when you shrink yourself to fit someone else's low expectations. Hansel and Gretel didn't wait for someone stronger, older, or more experienced to save them. They didn't have a business degree. They didn't have years of training. They had a problem and they solved it. That's the entrepreneurial spirit. You don't need permission to be resourceful. You don't need a credential to be clever. You don't need experience to be effective. You need to stop underestimating yourself. Every small business owner I know has faced a moment where they felt too small, too new, too under-resourced, or too lost in the woods. Maybe you're competing against companies with bigger budgets and longer track records. Maybe you're navigating new technology that feels overwhelming. Maybe you're pricing your services and thinking, who am I to charge that much? Maybe potential customers look at your age, whether you're younger or older, and make assumptions about your value. Here's what I want you to remember. Your business is not built on how long you've been in the game. It's built on how resourceful you're within the game. Just like Hansel and Gretel, you can outsmart challenges that seem bigger than you. You can navigate unknown terrain without the perfect map, or build creative solution on the fly, or solve problems others think are impossible, or survive situations that should have taken you out. The businesses that thrive aren't always the ones with the most resources. They're the ones that know how to use the resources they have. A limited budget? That forces creativity. No big team? That builds efficiency. New to the industry? That brings fresh perspective. Never underestimate what you bring to the table, because others will try to, and that's their mistake, not yours. All right, business warriors, here are your 3 Monday action steps inspired by Hansel and Gretel. Action step number 1, I want you to identify where you are underestimating yourself. Where are you holding back because you think you're not ready? Maybe it's a marketing campaign you want to launch but keep postponing. Maybe it's a dream client you're afraid to pitch. A price increase you know you deserve but are hesitant to implement. A partnership you want to pursue but think you're too small. Write it down. Get very specific. That's your witch in the woods. The thing that looks scary but can actually be defeated. Action step number 2, I want you to use the resources you do have not the ones you wish you had. Like Hansel, with his breadcrumbs, work with what you've got, your existing network and relationships, your unique perspective and creativity. You have free or low cost tools and platforms. You, your hustle and resilience, your ability to learn quickly. Stop waiting for perfect condition. Remember, resourcefulness beats resources every single time. Action step number 3, make one bold move this week that pushes past fear. Not a nudge move, not a perfect move, just a bold one. Send that email, make that call, ask for that meeting, start that project you've been overthinking, raise that price, post that content, show yourself and everyone watching what you're actually capable of. Here's what I want you to carry into this week. People may underestimate you. Circumstances may underestimate you, but don't you dare underestimate yourself. Hansel and Gretel weren't saved by luck or by waiting to be rescued. They were saved by their ingenuity. The same ingenuity that lives inside every single entrepreneur listening right now. Go into this week knowing you have everything you need to survive the woods. Outthink the obstacles and keep moving towards your goals. You're more capable than you think. You're more resourceful than they assume. And you're ready right now to make things happen. I'm Anna Steinfest, and this has been your Monday morning motivation on the Small Business Survival Conversation podcast. Now go out there and show them what they never saw coming.
You've been listening to the Small Business Survival Conversation podcast. Make sure to like, rate, and review the show. And don't forget to join us next week for another episode. In the meantime, hook up with us on our Facebook group at Small Business Survival Tools and Tips. Till next time, thank you for listening.